Welcome to today's workout. So today we're going to be focusing on mobility, some trunk rotation and movement, our glutes, and a full body circuit. So we're going to be using a chair and just a small cushion. So either from your bed or from your couch. Mine's just from the couch. It's quite small. You can fold it in half. See how you go with what we're going to use it for, and you can push pause if you need to go get something else. We're going to use it to assist as a prop to help with posterior expansion of the breath. So this is what we're going to start with, is to help get some more range of movement through all those little rib muscles and the back of our rib cage. That has a direct effect on our diaphragms, which has a direct effect on our pelvic floor. So there's a reason why we're tying this all together. I find this quite good if you find that your lower back is getting stiff, or you've got stiffness through the shoulders and neck. A lot of times it's our thoracic spine that needs to have a little bit of TLC. So starting from a kneeling position, push the cushion into your belly, and you're going to fold over it into a modified child's pose stretch. So there's no real proper or correct position. We just want to get forward fold over that cushion. And when you take a breath in, you're going to notice that the cushion is just creating less space, almost like a blockage or an obstacle in the front of your body. So rather than breathing in and expanding your belly into the pillow, I want you to breathe in. When you feel that obstruction, try to expand through the back of your rib cage. So into position, take a breath in and exhale. So when you exhale, try to relax even more over that pillow. Take a breath in. So as you breathe in, those back ribs, you want to try to fill them with air. And exhale. Now keep going at your own pace. Every inhale, you want to feel like the back of your body, so right around your bra strap area. Inhale and expand. And then exhale. Try to relax and get your arms and your body closer to the ground. We'll do about 3 more big inhales. And exhale. At the same time, try to let your head relax and get all the way to the ground. All right, let's do one more for good measure. And then slowly coming up. Now, if that feels quite good, feel free to hit pause and do a few more of those. I like to start a lot of my workouts with that, or even just start my day in that position, because I find we can just get really stuck in the backside of our body. So get a little bit more space through there, and that helps the rest of your trunk just sort of move and adapt with you through your movements. Now we're going to come into cats and cows. So you've probably done these many times before. So cats and cows, you want your hands under your shoulders, toes, knees are under the hips, toes out from the knees. Take a breath in, and we're going to go into our cat stretch. So cat, like an angry cat. Inhale as you come up, drop your head right down, and then exhale into that sway back cow. So we're trying to get a nice U shape through the spine. Don't forget your chin up to the sky. Inhale, angry cat. And exhale. So getting as much movement through your spine as possible. Inhale again. And exhale. All right, and then over to a neutral spine position. Now, a modified version of thread the needle. So thread the needle is like a nice trunk rotation movement. We're gonna go one hand to your ear, rotate that elbow up to the sky. Try to get your chest and belly to face that side, and then you're gonna come underneath. Now we're gonna reach your elbow to the bottom wrist. So that's as far as we're gonna go. And again, so I like to inhale as I go up, and exhale, going down. Good. 2 more. And again, we're working on movement through our spine. And last one. Going Good. Now I'm just going to move around and face the other way to do this one. So again, on your hands and knees, hand to the elbow, rotate up to the sky, and elbow to the bottom wrist. Good. And rotate up and reach. Good. And then last one. Good. All right, so that's just a nice, easy way for us to help get some movement through our trunk muscles and just through that whole torso. Before we get into some glute work, we're gonna do a very gentle stretch for our quads. So I'm just gonna put the cushion on my chair because mine's quite hard. I'm gonna put my toe up on the back of the chair. And then from here, coming forward with my front leg. If you're nearby a wall, you can hold on for a bit of balance. We're gonna go into a gentle stretch for your quad. So my chair is quite high. I find this stretch quite strong. If you need something a little bit less, you can try just keeping your back foot on the floor, or if you've got a shorter chair or a stool, you could try that. The goal is just to get a nice gentle stretch through the front of that thigh. Now, if these muscles are really, really tight, that's okay, but that's a sign that we should be working on to increase them. If they're really tight, quite often they'll grip and they'll inhibit our glutes from doing their job, and that'll come up next after this stretch. So another 5 seconds and we'll switch it over. Good. So unhook your toe and we'll switch to the other side. Good. Now, when you're in this position, you might notice one side feels a lot tighter than the other. Again, that's okay. It's all feedback, something that we can work on. So is it really tight through the thigh, or are you feeling it in your lower back? If you feel it in your lower back, you can lean forward a little bit just to alleviate that tightness. But we want to feel the stretch in the front of your thigh. So what you can do as well is slightly tuck your tailbone under, give your glutes a bit of a squeeze, and see if that helps. All right, another 5 seconds. So I like to include my breath with this as well. So big inhale and exhale. Good. All right, so I'm going to release that foot and then onto your backs. So onto your back, we're going to go into some glute bridges. From here, legs are at about 90 degrees, hands just down by your side. Tailbone tuck, squeeze your glutes. So actively try to feel like you can squeeze your butt cheeks. Drive your hips up, pause at the top, and then slowly lowering back down. So nice and gentle, but start with that tail tuck, squeeze your butt cheeks, and lift up. So this helps initiate the movement from your glutes. Instead of just lifting from your mid back where we just sort of lift up, we want to tuck, squeeze the glutes, drive them up, and lowering back down. All right, so we're gonna go for 5 more. Every rep, get those glutes on first, pushing up and lowering down. When you get to the top of that position, we're essentially in that quad stretch again that we just did. So if those quads felt really tight, in order for you to get that height, your body's gonna have to use your lower back muscles to get your hips off the ground. So that's why we stretch them off first, and we're emphasizing that glute squeeze to drive up. Okay, and let's do one more. So tailbone, tuck, squeeze it up, and lowering down. All right, so that's a nice hip extension, lots of glutes on that one. And now we're gonna come onto your side. I'm just gonna cradle my head like so. And from this position, we're gonna have 90 degrees at the knees. We're gonna keep our heels together. My hand is just slightly in front of me on the floor here. And keeping the heels together, a gentle clamshell. Very old school. I like these ones at the beginning of a workout just to wake up these side glutes. Not necessarily as their own exercise, but more of a pre sort of activation work. Okay, we're gonna go for 5 more. So I'm keeping my heels together, but my toes are separating. So my feet are coming off the bottom one, but the heels stay together. And last one. Now we're gonna stay on this side. Prop your arms out in front of you. And then we're gonna take your top arm, just rest your head on the ground. Take your top arm up and around, over past center. Bend at the elbow. Drop that elbow to the ground as best you can. Thinking about keeping your knees and feet together in the front. And then back up. And quite ready for 5. So we're mobility with our glute work before we go into the bigger movements. Okay. So 2 more. Excellent. All right, we're going to flip over onto the other side. So we're going to start with the clamshells and then the rib cage mobility. So knees are at about 90 degrees. Your hand can rest in front of you if you like. And the heels again stay together. And knee coming up. So with this one, try not to let the whole body go. Okay, it's just that lower leg. So we don't want to see your whole trunk moving with you. If the knee doesn't go very high, that's okay. Do the best you can. You want to feel it in that side glute. Some days will be better than others. Some days that top knee will barely get off. So 2 more. Good. Okay, and then arms extending out in front of you. Keeping the knees at about 90 degrees. As the arm is passing center, bend at the elbow and try to open your chest to the ceiling while your knees stay together, pointing to the front. So aim for 5. And around. Good. And excellent. All right. Now we're going to come back onto all fours. And the next one is a very good sort of way to combine our core with our shoulder blades and scapular movement. So scapular movement just means shoulder blades moving along our thoracic spine, so that mid-back. So again, if you're spending a lot of time at a desk or with your kids or cooking or driving, this is a really good one to keep that area mobile. This has a roll-on effect with our diaphragm and pelvic floor. So everything is connected. Now we're going to go for 10 of these. They're a bit tricky. Come down to a kneeling position, onto your elbows. Okay, so we're holding like a plank, a kneeling plank off the ground. And then you're going to sink into your shoulder blades. So don't let your belly or anything touch the ground. And then you're pressing away. So sinking down, press away. Sinking down, press away. Now, maintain that trunk positioning. So a slight tailbone tuck. You should feel your core muscles having to hold you quite a bit. It might be subtle or it might be more intense. So strong through that scapular glide. Okay, you're squeezing them together and then you're pressing them away. 1 more. Excellent. And that's it. So it just helps warm them up, get them sort of juicy, because what's coming up next, we're going to need them. So up to your feet. We're going to do one of my favorite things to incorporate in most of my workouts, and that is a toe push-off. So we're going to start in a split stance. Your back foot is in like a calf stretch position. So from here, I get that calf stretch to the back. Then I'm going to press up to my toes. So I'm right up on my tippy toes, stretching out all 5 toes on the mat. And then we're going to press up to the very tip of your big toenail and reverse. So down to the toes and then pressing through. So stretch out all 5 toes, up to the top, and reverse it on the way down. Now, have a look at your feet and make sure that your back foot is pointing straight ahead. It's not pointing out to the side. You want to go right up, right through the middle of all 5 toes, tip of the big toenail, middle of all 5 toes, pressing it down. One more time before we switch sides. And down. Excellent. Okay, and then we'll swap. All right, so I'm going to start in that calf stretch position. All 5 toes, tip of the toes, stretch, press it down. All right, so again, this might feel a bit different, left foot versus right foot. Some days this feels great, nothing feels sticky or anything like that. Other times my calf feels tight, or there's lots of crunching sort of through that big toe and those joints. We want to keep our big toes strong and mobile, especially as we get older. We want to make sure we avoid arthritis kicking in or bunion formation as well. Last one into that calf stretch and down. Excellent. All right, now we're going to go into the 2 sets of our workout, so the actual strength components. So the first exercise is a split squat. So with the split squat, you can hold on to a wall if you're beside one, or you can put a chair in front of you for balance if you need to as well. So with the split squat, we're going to go into a nice split stance, and we're using the same toe position. That's why we just did those toe push-offs, because it really warms up the toes. Strong feet give us a good strong foundation. So from here, we're going to sink down about halfway, pause, and then come back up. Very simple. If you're feeling strong, feel free to come down all the way and back up, but we're not resting at the bottom. Now, we're going to go for 8 in total, so we've already done 2. So I'm going to come down for 6 more and up. Nice even pace, down, slight pause, and then back up. Hands just out in front of you or for support if you need to as well. Good. So 2 more. Emphasize pushing into that front foot, especially on the way up. Good. And then we're going to swap sides. So again, right side versus left side, they might feel slightly different. That's okay. See how you go, and then we can adjust the positioning a little bit if you need to. The more you practice, the easier they will get. So if these are terrible today, that's okay. Next time they'll probably be a little bit better. So down, pause, and up. Okay, and we're going to do 2 more. And up. Excellent. All right, now we're going to come into a kneeling side plank. So knees are going to be together. You're down on the mat. Elbow underneath your shoulder. From here, drive the hips up into a kneeling side plank. Never underestimate these guys. Top leg is going to straighten like so. And we're going to do 8 taps. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Now keep the hips up high and squeeze that bottom butt cheek. Okay, last one. And lower down. All right, over to the other side. So elbow underneath the shoulder, hand on the hip, drive the hips up, top leg straight, and we'll go for 8. Now keep this bottom hip high off the ground. So this is when you're gonna really start to feel the side of your glutes. So whichever side you do second, that's the side that's gonna cry out for help. Because both of them are working. Second side is just gonna feel way more fatigue. And lower down. Excellent. Now, those are the 2 exercises that we're doing. We're gonna come straight back up to our feet, shake them out a little bit. Feel free to grab a sip of water if you'd like to as well. And we're gonna go from the top. So, I'm gonna might start with my left leg in front this time. Alrighty, so hands out in front or slightly holding on. 8 split squats going up and down. So down, pause, and up. Good. Okay, and then just 3 more. Good, so emphasize that front leg. And swap. Swap sides. Good. Nice. So you'll probably notice that you're naturally going deeper each one. So now that you've kind of warmed up, the body's primed, it knows what to do, you'll naturally go a bit deeper with less thought, hopefully. And done. All right. Now back down to these side planks. So very similar to what we started with those clamshells at the beginning. Again, part of the warm-up, it all ties in together. So 8 taps. And 8. Excellent. Let's switch it around. So even this side plank position, there's lots of shoulder work. Another reason we did those scapular push-ups at the beginning, warms them up, gets them primed to actually work. So hips up nice and high. Squeeze that bottom butt cheek. 3, 2, and then last one, bringing it down. Excellent. All right, we are gonna go for 3 sets. So coming back up, grab a quick sip of water if you'd like. And we're gonna go again from the top. So nice stretch of the toes out the back, hands out in front or holding on lightly, and 8. Good, and swap it over. Nice. So if you find yourself gravitating towards that back leg, try to keep your weight forward on the front one. Even if they become a bit more shallow, if you're getting fatigued, that's all right. And last one. Excellent. All right. Slight change on this 3rd set of the kneeling side plank. Now we're going to combine a bit of rotation in the upper body. So keeping the knees together, drive yourself up to that side plank, hand to your ear, and rotate. Rotate your elbow to the hand and up to the ceiling. So keep that going for 8, 3, hips up nice and high. And last one. Lowering it down. And we'll switch it over to the other side. So knees together. Hips up nice and high. Rotate and up. Okay, and last one. And down. Excellent. All right, so again, grab a sip of water if you'd like. And we're gonna go into the 2 other exercises in this little workout. So when you're ready, the first one I might just do face on is a pulse squat. So you wanna be about hip width, maybe slightly wider if you'd prefer. Hands out in front of you. Come down into a squat, pulse, and then coming back up. So the pulse isn't a bounce and it's not fully up. You're only coming up about a quarter of your squat. So it's almost like you come down, you come up, change your mind, and then come up fully. So it's a bit of a tease. It's just a nice way to get extra time under tension in your squat position. So we're going to do 5 more. So coming down, pause, and back up. Good. So reach the hips back. Hands can be slightly in front of you. This will help give you a bit more of a counter if your arms are reaching out. I just like them tucked in towards my chest. Again, if balance isn't quite there for whatever reason, feel free to hold a chair in front of you. Okay, last one. Good. All right, now, the next one, we are going to do a kneeling push-up into child's pose. So we sort of get the push-up and a stretch, push-up and a stretch. So we're going to go for 8. Think about those scapular push-ups that we did at the beginning as well. We want to try to get that movement through our shoulder blades. It's not just our wrists and shoulders. Get the actual shoulder blades to move across your back. So we're going to start in the kneeling push-up position. So from your knees, drive the hips forward, shoulders on top of your hands. Come down for the push-up. As you're about to finish it, push back into that nice stretch over the hips. And back. So go for 8 in total. As you press back, stick your bum up, stretch it out, and breathe. And reach. Good. Good. So with that child's pose, think about stretching out the ribs again. Last one. And extending the arms, reaching far away. Excellent. Now walk your hands in, and we're going to come back up to our feet, and we're going to go again. So from that standing position, watch out for the head rush when you do come up to standing, and we're going to go into our pulse squats. So down, pulse, up. Only for 8. Good. Okay, reach those hips back. And one more for good measure. Excellent. All right, so we're going to come down into our push-ups, and I'm going to go this way. So walking those hands out, drop those knees into a nice plank position for that push-up, and then each one finishing with that stretch. So if you feel you need a little bit of extra time to get that breath in this child's pose, go for it. So I inhale right before the push-up. I exhale as I push up. And then I inhale quickly and exhale again in child's pose. So I sort of exhale on exertion and then exhale on the stretch again. You'll sort of get into a rhythm of it. Okay, and 2 more. Excellent. I'm going to do one more because I lost count. Yep, excellent. All right, now 3rd round. So exact same thing. We'll come up to our feet, grab some water if you need it, and we're going to go into the pulse squats again. All right, so down, pulse, and up. Good. Reach those hips back. Nice little pulse and up. Excellent. All right, 3rd set of push-ups. So let's come around pretty quick. If your knees don't like this, you can always put the cushion under your knees as well. Okay, and then last round of 8. Good. All right, I'm gonna go for one more. Excellent. All right. Again, feel free to grab some water. The last component won't take very long, but your heart rate will get up a little bit more. So slowly making your way up to your feet. We're gonna go in 30-second intervals. So I'm just gonna use my watch. I've got it set for 30 seconds. So we're gonna do 30 seconds on, and then it's 15 seconds off. So that just means 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we're gonna go through 4 exercises 3 times. So we'll see how we go. We're gonna start with a little tiny, I call them mini jump squats. So literally just enough to clear your mat. So we're not trying to break through the ceiling. It's literally just enough to get a little bit of air underneath your feet. So we'll do our first round in 3, 2, and go. Again, feel free to hold on to the wall if you think you need to. And they're just little, so they don't have to be very big. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. So a bit of a burn, quite out of breath. Shake out your legs. The next one, we're going to have your right leg in front, left one back, and then we're just going to do knee drive down, knee drive down. So there's no actual jumping. It's just a nice, quick sort of knee movement. 3, 2, and go. So one leg is moving, other one is holding you pretty still. 8 seconds. 2, and 1. Good. Don't forget which leg you just used. Shake them out. We will do the other leg as the third exercise. So getting ready in 3, 2, and go. You'll probably notice one leg feels a bit more stable, one might be a bit wobblier. Also, fatigue's going to start to set in, and that's when your legs will start to lose their balance as well. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. So 15 seconds rest, and then I've got my notes in front of me. The last one, just using your yoga mat, we're just going to do a little hop across the mat like so. 3, 2, and go. So hop across. Good. Again, doesn't have to be a big hop, just enough to clear a tiny bit of air. So we're working our feet. You'll probably feel those little muscles tomorrow from being worked a little bit differently today. Three, 2, and 1. Good. So those are the 4 exercises, and we've got 2 more sets. So shake them out, quick sip of water. We've got 5 seconds. So the mini jump squats. 3, 2, and go. Three, 2, and 1. Excellent. Shake them out. I'm going to do my left leg, standing on my left leg first this time. 3, 2, and go. So knee drive. And last one. Good. So shake them out. Give your ankles a bit of a roll if you need to. And we'll get ready for the other side. Three, 2, and go. Good, so as that knee is coming up, try to keep your supporting leg nice and still, and rest. And up next is the side hops as well. All right, getting ready. 3, 2, and go. Just find that little space going across your mat. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, quick sip of water if you'd like, and we've got our third and final round. So the little jump squats to start. You can also hold on to a chair or the wall if you prefer. 3, 2, and go. Three, 2, and done. Good. Again, shake them out. I'm going to start with the right leg this time, in front. Left toe is reaching back. 3, 2, and go. Last 2, and rest. Good. 15 seconds. All right, 3 seconds till we start. 2, and go. Good, so nice job trying to keep that front leg nice and still. Last 2. Good, 15 seconds. And then we've got our last set of the side hops. So you should be feeling that a little bit. Lots of side glutes and our feet being worked quite a bit, especially in our sock or bare feet on the mat. And 3, 2, and go. So just a nice, smooth hopping across. Again, if your balance is really shady or you just don't feel confident, face a wall and do this with your hands lightly in front of you. Four seconds. And done. Excellent. All right, grab a quick sip of water, shake out those legs, and then grab your pillow. So I'm going to put the pillow just in the middle of my mat. I'm going to sit on it. If you don't have a pillow, you can just sit on the ground. I'm just sitting on it so it elevates me up just a little bit. And legs are going to go out in front. So from this position, take a few big breaths. One more big breath. And then with our legs out in a nice V position, gently reach one arm towards your foot. So I'm just reaching my right arm towards my right ankle. And then my left arm is going to come up and over. And try to reach a bit further into that side bend. So trying to get nice rib cage, stretching it, really gently reach for my foot. So the main stretch I want to feel is in the trunk, not so much the hamstring. Another reason why I've elevated the hips. It just gives you a bit more room for the pelvis and the hamstrings. All right, up tall through center. Kind of bring my body back to the middle. A couple of shakes in the legs. Take a breath in. Exhale, reach for that other leg. So I'm reaching for my left leg. Now my right arm is going to reach up and over. So every inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, try to just go a little bit further. Good. And one more. Good. And then back up through center. Shake out the legs. And you guys are all done. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below or send me a message and just let me know. This is for all levels. You might find this really hard. You might find this not challenging at all. Every feedback is good feedback that you can get from your body. But again, let me know how you felt with it. And if you have any questions, then we can modify it for you from there.